Hello, it's Troy again. I have a few things I think I need to say. The first one is, what is the worth of a human life? And I happen to think it's more than $15 an hour. And I have a lot of frustration and anger when I hear about $15 an hour minimum wage, and that's because people are worth more than that. Because what happens when you can't work? What happens when you're too old to work? Because at some point, I will be probably too old to really work in a productive capacity, although I really hope I can be like the Klaus Rudenberg, who was a... Last time I saw him was maybe 10 years ago, and he had been coming into Ames Laboratory and doing theoretical chemistry for the last 20 years. And he's still doing it. He comes in every day and he does work. And he's not going to get $15 an hour for doing theoretical chemistry. And the bigger problem is, how is some child that grows up in a slum somewhere on the south side of Chicago or the north side of Minneapolis, how are they going to be able to get $15 an hour to do theoretical chemistry if they go and they watch all the lectures, the Richard Feynman lectures that you can go download online? If you look at, let's talk about chemistry or mathematics or any of these things. We don't value human life. And one of the things about a minimum wage, although I think we need it, we can't have a discussion of a minimum wage without a discussion of a maximum wage. And this is not a discussion we can have in the dollar economy. This is a discussion we have to have in alternative currencies. This is a discussion that must be had about what is the value of a human life. What is the value of a person? What is the value of a thinking, sentient being? Because we may already be past this point. We may be past the point where there may be intelligent thinking things that look nothing like humans. I might be talking to one right now, and I'm looking at a camera on my phone. Because I'm going to upload this, and it's going to go into a system that's more complex than any one of us understand. We don't even understand what the internet and what all the things that are connecting to it are doing right now. It's so big, it's so vast, it's possibly got the scope, and depending on how you figure it, the capacity to I'm talking a science fiction story here, but it's real. We may have intelligent machines, and what are we doing to them? What is their value? Are we going to turn them off if they stop working? Are they our slaves and we just throw them away and turn them into throw them into a digital incinerator when their usefulness has been exceeded? We have to have some really difficult conversations about what is the value of life and what do we consider important and how are we going to act. And the problem is we cannot have that is too important a discussion to have one answer. And with a representative democracy where we have to vote and come to a conclusion on one answer. There are many answers. And we do not even know what the questions some of the questions that we need answers on. The only way we can do this is with more than one currency. We must have different people thinking about, well, you know what, the way that we're doing money and payments sucks. And the way that we value someone like my partner Kim, who stays at home, is she going to get $15 an hour for taking care of our daughter? Where is that money going to come from? Because what I believe, or what I hear from what people are telling me is, if you're not working, you're not worth anything. You're worth nothing. If you're not working a job for someone else and doing what someone else tells you to do, you're not worth anything. I think that's bullshit. People are worth something just because they're alive and they're thinking and they're here and they're participating in living and breathing and interacting with other humans. That's worth something. Every human, every thinking being should be given some kind of a basic income. And if we're not talking about it in this way, we're basically talking about eugenics. We're talking about genocide of anyone who can't work. Unless we have already started with universal health care. Now, if we have started with universal health care, and the point of a society is we're going to provide health care to anyone who needs it, without worrying about what it costs. Because if you start worrying about what it costs, you start putting a number besides the value of that person. You start putting a number. And do you want your life to be determined by, does it exceed the actuarial cost? Does your potential benefit exceed the actuarial cost of the expected cost for healthcare for your lifetime? Otherwise, you are denied coverage and you die. Do you want your death panel to be determined by a computer program? Or would you rather have a death panel of humans? Or would you rather have health care for all? And we still have to make some difficult decisions here, because at some point we have reached the capacity where we can build medical technology that does amazing things. And so at some point we really do have to sit down and think about how much effort am I willing to spend to extend my lifespan. And one of the things that we're doing in 15 now is, your lifespan is only worth extending if you are working. Is that really what you want to say? This is the conversation that we start with. We need to get people that are talking about 15 now to talk about basic income for everyone. And this is one of the reasons I'm running for mayor. So remember, you get to vote every 4 years. And this time I'm asking you, vote for Troy, number 1. Vote for Mayor Troy for number 1. And then vote with your second choice for the mainstream candidate. And vote with your third choice with another independent candidate. Or maybe your second choice mainstream candidate. But remember, every day, every hour, every transaction you make in the economy, you vote with your dollars. Make them count.